Hello friends, and welcome to Escaping the Mouse with your host, me, Breck Roll. Alright, we're doing another episode of Bites and Nibbles with Breck today. I'm going to do something I haven't done in a while. I'm going to do an Instant Pot recipe. Like I said, I don't think I've done an Instant Pot recipe since my mom passed away. And I'll admit a lot of the reason I did the Instant Pot recipes was because my mom got one at the same time I did. We basically gave each other Instant Pots for Christmas one year. And I used mine. I love mine. I used it a lot. But my mom was a little bit timid about using it. I think she was a little afraid of it. She thought it was her mom's pressure cooker and stuff like that. So I did a lot of Instant Pot recipes just to kind of show her how easy it is to use and the different kinds of things that you can do with it. And I kind of stopped doing them a little bit when my mom passed. But we're going to do another one today. This one's also going to be kind of a little bit inspired by my mom also, because when I was young, my mom my mom and dad were always telling us, oh, you got to eat it. You don't know what you don't like until you actually try it. Turns out when I grew up and got a little older, my ability to be a little bit more adventuresome with food was even more so than my parents, especially my dad. My dad got into things that he liked and things he didn't like, and never the two crossed. My mom was a little bit more open-minded, but there were a number of times I remember, like when I was a young adult and I'd want to order something that seemed a little different. My mom would try and talk me out of it, say, oh, I've tried that, you probably won't like that, it's a little too gamey for me. One of those things was catfish. I remember going to a fish restaurant and thinking I was going to order some catfish, and my mom talked me out of it at the time. Another thing was venison, and it was the same thing. My mom thought it was too gamey. Turns out I've had both catfish and venison, and I loved them both. So when I saw this recipe in one of my cookbooks today for Grandma's Catfish Chowder, I said, you know what, I gotta try that, see if that's any good. So that's what we're gonna do today. Now, unfortunately, I don't have catfish in the house at all times, so what I'm gonna have to do is go to the grocery store. So I'll catch up with you when I get back. Grocery store, and I happened to notice they had this end cap with chicken jerky on it. Seems like a bad kind of placement because it's right around the corner from the dog treat section. Yeah, that just sounds like an accident waiting to happen. Alright, I'm back from the grocery store, and these are the ingredients we're going to use for our Grandma's Catfish Chowder. Obviously, you're going to start with a little catfish, got some chicken stock, a little lemon juice, some salt and pepper for taste, a little milk, some oregano, paprika, basil, thyme, a little cornstarch, and some onions and potatoes. Now, as I often do with a lot of these recipes, I'm going to increase the recipe. I'm not going to even double this one. I'm going to triple this one. So we're going to get some leftovers from this, and they say that if you follow the recipe as is, you'll get 4 servings, but I'm a big guy, and usually 4 servings to me means 2 servings. So if I triple this recipe, I'll at least get 6 servings out of this. So like I said, I'm going to triple it, and we'll just see how it comes out. Now, one of the interesting things about this recipe is it's actually pretty quick going together. You have to prepare the veggies. You got to cut up the onion and the potato and the fish a little bit. But other than that, you just kind of throw everything in the Instant Pot and let it cook. So this is actually a pretty easy one to do. Alright, I've taken a little bit of time and gotten all my ingredients basically chopped up and ready to go. So I got my potatoes and my onions here. I got my catfish here. I've measured out all my dry spices. This is my thyme, my basil, my paprika, my oregano, and salt and pepper to taste. Mostly pepper because, well, you know me. And then I got my chicken stock here, some water, and some milk. Basically, with the exception of the cornstarch, which gets put in there at the end to kind of thicken up the whole thing, this is everything. And so basically at this point you just put everything in the Instant Pot, seal the lid, and turn it on and cook it. So like I said, it's the preparation that's most of the work here. Once you get it prepared, it just goes into the Instant Pot and it's real quick. So let's get all this stuff into the Instant Pot and we'll move on. Okay, so we got the potatoes, the onions, and the meat in there. I'm going to add in my water, my chicken stock, my milk. And we're going to top it off with all my dry ingredients, all my spices. Once I get that all in there, I'm going to kind of stir it all together just so we get it all good and mixed in there. You can kind of see the paprika in the top there, or in the bottom. Get it all stirred up and mixed up and ready to go here. Oh yeah. That's going to be good. Like I said, I'm really looking forward to see what this tastes like, because I have become a fan of catfish, especially since I came here to Texas. You know, it's almost a national fish here, or the state fish or something you gotta love. And I think that's more maybe even the South than Texas, but catfish is just kind of a staple. So, you know what? We're gonna go with the flow here. Okay, that looks pretty good and mixed up here. Let's put the lid on that thing, get this thing cooking. We're going to go into manual mode. In this case, it's in pressure cook mode. I'm going to cook it for 10 minutes. So let's get the timer to 10 minutes here. We're going to keep the pressure at high. We're going to turn off the keep warm button. So what'll happen now is it'll heat up to a boil. The pressure will build up there. The timer will start and we'll cook for 10 minutes. Once that's done, we are going to quick release and we'll go from there. Now while I got the other concoction going in the Instant Pot, I've mixed up some water and some cornstarch. Basically, this is 3 tablespoons of cornstarch to 4.5 tablespoons of water. So it's a 1 to 1.5 ratio of water and cornstarch. And once we're done and we've vented the Instant Pot, I'm going to pour this in and we're going to cook it with this, and that's going to thicken it up a lot. So like I said, I'm getting that ready ahead of time, but now we're good to go. Alright, we are done. We're going to quick release the pressure on this bad boy and finish this thing off. And once again, when the little pink button is done, the pressure has been safely released. Pull it off slowly here. Be careful of the steam inside because it's going to be extreme. All right. So kind of stir everything together here. Looks pretty good, doesn't it? Going to kind of scoop all those spices down inside there. Still looks like more of a soup than anything else, but that's because we have not put the cornstarch in there. So let's throw our cornstarch in there. Okay, now that we got everything kind of mixed together, we're going to put it into saute mode again. And what that's going to do is that's going to allow it to continue cooking, and that will allow the, when we bring it back up to a boil again, that's going to allow the cornstarch to thicken up the broth a little bit. So we're just going to keep this moving for the next few minutes, and I'll catch up with you then. Alright, this is coming together nice. It has thickened up quite a bit. And we're going to give it a few more minutes here just to get it to set up to its proper consistency. But this is going to look really good. It smells really good. I got to admit, I've tasted the broth a little bit. It tastes pretty good too. And it sounds like it's about 6 o'clock, time for dinner. Good thing that we're getting to the end of this, right? Alright, a few minutes have passed. We've given this time for everything to thicken up a little bit. We're going to hit cancel now, turn everything off, and we're going to let this cool down just a little bit, and then we're going to give it its all-important taste test. I can't wait, can you? Alright, we're ready for our all-important taste test, and after all, this is the whole point of the video, right? You wouldn't be watching me spend a whole bunch of time cooking something just to watch me throw it down the drain. You actually want to see me eat it and not die in the process, right? Well, some of my potatoes are hanging right on the top, so let's give that a shot first thing, and then we'll go for the good stuff. Good flavoring on it. I love the potatoes are nice and soft, but not too soft. Sometimes you overcook potatoes, they kind of get mushy. But the key thing here is the meat, and that's at the deep down bottom here where it's the most hot. So I have to cool this off a little bit so I don't burn my mouth. Not intending to put any of the scenes from this video into the blooper reel today. Fish is really soft and tender too. Definitely can taste the catfish, and it tastes really good. It's a good addition to this. I don't really have any issues with this. This is actually very, very tasty. I goosed it up a little bit more on the pepper. I know I told you I put a lot of pepper in at the beginning. But when I started simmering it at the end and thickening it up a bit, I decided it needed a little bit more salt and it needed a lot more pepper. So I added some more pepper into it. It's really, really good at this point, but once again, this is one of those things. They even say in the recipe that the salt and pepper are to taste. So use that as you wish. You could honestly just wait until you've done cooking the whole thing under pressure, and when you get to the simmering point, and just do it, taste it a little bit, see what you think, and make adjustments as there. But this is a very tasty dish. I'm actually kind of glad I did this one, because I knew just this morning when I got up, I was thinking I was going to do some sort of a cooking vlog, but I wasn't sure what, and I started thinking, you know what, I want to try some fish. And I looked through the recipe book and saw something with catfish, and it says that's the one. And this was a good call. I don't know how many people out there like catfish, or if you've ever even tried it before, but this is kind of a good friendly way to start if you're a little concerned about that. Anyway, I think I'm going to wrap this one up. The video or the recipe will be in the description below. Check it out if you're interested. And I think that's it for today. So thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you next time on Skipping the Mouse. Bon appetit. Okay friends, just a little afterthought on today's video. One of the things that disappointed me a little bit about it was that the fish broke up and there weren't really the bite-sized chunks that I'd cut in there when I ate it. And I was thinking, I think it would be better if there were those bite-sized chunks. And in hindsight, if I were to do this one again, what I would probably do is, before I did any of the pressure cooking stuff, I would have put the meat in a little olive oil in saute mode in the Instant Pot, browned it a little bit, put it aside, prepared the rest of the mix in the Instant Pot as per instructions, and at the end, when I'd opened it up and we were thickening it up and we had the cornstarch in there, I would have done that whole process, and then when it was done, I would have turned off the heat, waited for the bubbles to stop, waited for it to stop bubbling, and then I would have poured the meat in there, kind of gently mixed it in, and allowed it to sit in there for 4 or 5 minutes. That would bring it up to temperature. It would also have brought the temperature of the soup down and made it so I didn't quite burn the roof of my mouth the way I did. And I think that would result in, bigger chunks of meat in there. So in the future, you might want to try that.